you guys doing? Good. Are you enjoying this weekend here so far?
Yeah.
Cool. I just came over for this, so I haven't really been with you guys, but it seems like things are going really well. So, yeah, I live right here in Lima. I've been working with Basic for 5 years, and I'll explain to you guys a little bit later, too, a little bit more about what Basic does, just in case you're close to going to college in the next couple of years here. It might be something that you're interested in hearing about. How many of you are freshmen or sophomore in high school, or going to be in the fall? Freshmen or sophomore? Okay, just a couple of you. So juniors and seniors primarily then? Most of you guys? How many of you are seniors then? Or going to be seniors, yeah. Quite a few of you. Awesome. That's cool. Is there anybody here who graduated high school? Nice. Yeah. Always the jokester back there. Andy. All right. Yeah, Noah.
I raised my hand.
Andy's coming.
No, you graduated a long time ago, right?
Ow.
All right. Well, they asked me to share with you guys about how to start and run a Bible study. And I thought I would start out by sharing with you guys my experience, because when I was in high school, they had a Bible study going in our high school. And so I wanted to share with you a little bit about how that went, because it was nice to have a Bible study that I could go to that was actually in the high school. That was pretty cool. But it wasn't very organized. And I would go there, and you'd get in, and it would feel really awkward because there were only like 3 people there. And it was in a regular classroom, so we didn't really do anything special to change the classroom or anything like that. And it was after school, so you'd walk in, and some weeks the people running it were like, "What are we doing this week?" And I think to myself, aren't you supposed to know that? You're the one running the Bible study, And so I appreciated that these students wanted to run a Bible study, but at the same time, they really didn't have like a good plan. They didn't have something put together to run this thing, and so it felt really awkward. And I wanted it to be a place where I could invite people who didn't know Jesus to come to this Bible study, but anytime I brought somebody, it was like super awkward, really uncomfortable, and they never came back. And so I never really was the person in charge of leading it, kind of thing. But then when I went to college, I got involved in a college ministry. I went to Oswego. I don't know if anybody knows where that is, north of Syracuse. And so I went to Oswego, and I got involved in a college ministry there. And I started to find out that a lot of things about the way you do college ministry are kind of similar to starting and running a Bible study. And when I got involved, it was, again, a small, awkward group. It was like 10 people. By the time I got to my junior year, we had seen God do some incredible things, and we were having about 60 people meet on campus every week. And so it was really cool to see it really take off in that time. And so I want to share with you today, how you can put together a Bible study. This is going to be a really practical session, okay? Really practical, like how do I get this thing started? What should I be thinking about if I want to start a Bible study, that kind of stuff. And I want you to think about a couple things as we go through it. But one of the main things I want you to think about is, should a Bible study be for just people who are Christians? Or is there a way to do a Bible study that's good for unbelievers too? Something that can work for both. And I'm going to really encourage you to do something that can work for both. So I'm going to talk about first starting a Bible study and how you get one started. And then I'm going to talk about the practicals of what running a Bible study on a weekly basis will look like. Okay? So when you're going to start a Bible study, the very first step, I think this is pretty obvious, pray about it, right? And so you're just going to want to pray and ask the Lord, and I'm hesitant to say pray about it, because have you ever heard about those people who are like, maybe you've been that person before, you're like, I'm going to go into my prayer closet, and I'm going to pray about this. And in a couple months, I'll come back out, and then I'll decide what I'm going to do. Kind of thing. You know how those people can be like that? They say, I'm praying about it. But really, it's just a way to put it off. Kind of thing. And so when I say pray about it, I don't mean take months to pray about it. What I mean is God leading you to start a Bible study? Whether that's at your high school or at your church or with a group of friends at your house or something like that, who knows? But maybe God is leading you to start a Bible study. Chances are He is. Because a Bible study is just fulfilling the Great Commission, right? getting together to study the Bible. There's really not much that we have to debate there as that a good thing or a bad thing. What I'm more saying when I say pray about it is pray about what should this look like? How can I get my friends interested and involved in this? How can I do this on a weekly basis, and what will it look like? Okay, so be praying about that kind of stuff when you're thinking about starting up a Bible study. And then, like I said, consider, is this just for other Christians, or is it for Christians and unbelievers? Because there's going to be a big dynamic change if it's just for other Christians versus if it's for Christians and people who you want to invite who are your friends who don't know God, right? Those two Bible studies could look completely different. Doesn't that make sense? And so then you need to determine a location to hold it. You know, whether it's in a classroom at school, your house, a room in your church, etc. You know, we had ours in a classroom at the high school. And that had its challenges, but it was also really awesome because it was really convenient. High school ended for the day, and we all went to this classroom and had our Bible study kind of thing. It was right there. Like I said, you could invite your friends easily. You could have a Bible study at a room in your church, though. You know, ask your pastor's permission and see if you could hold it there. Of course, in that case, you would have to get their permission, and you know, you're less likely to get friends who, you know, don't know God to come to a church, right? It's a little bit more awkward for them, kind of thing. You could also have it at your house. You know, ask your parents, hey, can I have people over on a weekly basis? That's really easy to get friends to come over, probably. Might be harder to get friends of friends, though, who don't know who you are, kind of thing, to come to your house. It might be a little awkward. But having it in a house is a great way to do it, too. So I want to encourage you, invite your friends. You know, that's the next step, right? Okay, now I've determined where I'm going to have this. Now I want to invite my friends. Well, what's some different ways that you can do that? You can hang up posters if you're an official like club at the high school. That's what we were. We were called the Bible Club or something like that. It wasn't any cool name. It was very cheesy, I think. But you can hang up posters around the high school and get people to come that way. Invite people on Facebook. Now that that's a big deal, add something fun to promote it. Have you guys ever been to like Young Life? How many people have done Young Life? Oh wow, none of you guys. Wow. Okay. Do you know what Young Life is? Oh my gosh, wow. This is incredible. Okay. Young Life is like this thing, it's meant to reach out to people who don't know Jesus. And so what it is it's a weekly meeting at somebody's house in the evening where people come, they sing songs, but it's not like worship songs. They do fun games, and then they share a short message that's a Christian message. But it's like really supposed to be really chill and laid back and really easy for somebody who doesn't know God to come. And so when I was in Young Life is for high schoolers, so I'm surprised you guys haven't heard about it. But when I was in Young Life, they would do crazy games like they'd have teams of people where one person would put shaving cream all over their face, and the other person would throw cheese balls at it and see how many they could get to stick on their face. And then they'd be competing against somebody else doing the same thing, and whoever got more cheese balls stuck to their face, they won, you know, kind of thing. So maybe you could think of some fun games like that to do to promote your Bible study, to get things started. Obviously, that's really messy if you're doing that in a high school. You might not be able to get away with that, but...
parents would be much better, too.
Yeah. Go ahead.
What kind of songs would they sing?
They sang like songs that were on the radio. They just got together. It was kind of weird because like we're not used to like, you know, with worship we're used to singing songs together, but with this they would sing songs on the radio together. So it was kind of, that part of the meeting was always a little weird to me, but but that's what they would do, and people had fun with it still. One of the things that if you're thinking like, sometimes it can be cool to come up with like a big event type of idea to promote what you're doing. So for instance, one of the things that they did when I was in Young Life, they made this a huge event. Have you guys ever seen that comedian Gallagher? You probably haven't. You know who he is? He's this guy who just loves to smash stuff. So he comes out on a stage, he has a really big hammer, yeah, now you know who I'm talking about, and he'll like put a watermelon out there and just smash it, and it goes all over the crowd and stuff, okay? So when I was in Young Life, they decided, hey, let's do our own version of that. And they set it up in somebody's garage, and they said, bring whatever you want, and we will smash it, okay? And so I remember, like, we had goggles on and stuff, but we weren't that, like, covered up and stuff. But anyways, you could bring whatever you want. So I remember my girlfriend and I, who's now my wife, so we, all the girls in the room. I have a high school sweetheart. Okay. So I remember my girlfriend and my mom wasn't very good at cleaning out the fridge. So my girlfriend and I decided we're going to go through the fridge and find everything that's disgusting and old, has been in there too long, and put it all in one bag. And this is what we're going to smash up at this thing.
Ew.
It smelled so bad, guys. It was like moldy and reeked and then they brought out the bag and smashed it. It went all over everybody. That was one of the most disgusting nights of my life. So, but that's just an idea. But I'm saying if you think of like some kind of fun, really big event like that, that could be a cool way to do some, obviously you would do that one outside. But that can be a cool way to promote that and say, hey, come check this out kind of thing, and get your friends who don't know God to come to that thing. And then from there, you have an in with them to start getting them to come to Bible studies or youth group or different things like that. But you know what I found is the most effective way of getting people to come to a Bible study? Free food. Yeah, have some pizza or snacks available. That is by far the easiest way. I'll be on a college campus at one of our basic groups, and we'll just put some pizza out by the door. And you would not believe how many people start to walk by and wait a second, kind of thing, and they come right back, and they want to get some of that free food, right? You guys like free food, right? Yeah. All right. So everybody likes to be fed. So if you have some free food at your meeting on a weekly basis at your Bible study, that'll make it so much more fun. Not only will people be excited about free food, but what do people do when they're eating? They talk, they hang out. It just creates a cool atmosphere for a Bible study. And so there's a couple different ways you can do this as far as like, how do I get money for that every week to have food, Well, you could get money from this from your job, if you're working a job. You could talk to your church or maybe to your youth group leader and see if they want to give you some money for it on a weekly basis. Especially if there's a really good potential that you're going to be bringing people into this Bible study who then might actually come to your youth group who aren't coming right now. Talk to your youth group leader. See if they'd be excited about throwing some of the money that they're using in their youth group towards that, or talking to the church about adding some money to that. I mean, really, when you're talking about pizza, it's probably like $20 a week, if that, kind of thing. It's not a lot of money. And so you never know where you could get money from that. Your parents might say, hey, I'm totally behind this. I think this is awesome that you're trying to reach out to other students. Maybe your parents will give you some money to get snacks every week. She's looking like, no way, ain't happening. Well, maybe your parents are nicer than hers. No, I'm just kidding. So those are ways that you want to get a Bible study started. You got to pray about it, determine the location, invite your friends, and get the thing running. Okay? But then, how do you actually put together a Bible study? This can be a little bit more difficult. This is why, when I was at a Bible study in high school, it was awkward, and we didn't always know what we were doing, because when it comes down to it, putting together a Bible study can actually be quite a challenge. But there's a couple things I want to go over. The first thing is that you, as the leader, determine the atmosphere of the group. So you set the tone. So if you are friendly when people come in, if you're there to have a good time, not that if you had a bad day, that's, be honest and open with people kind of thing. I'm not saying that. But if you're friendly and welcoming to people who come in the door, if you're right on schedule with things starting and you're organized and you got food there and stuff ready to go, that's going to set the tone for the Bible study. You want people to have fun, but you want them to still take it seriously. That's really the key. You want them to have fun when you're playing those games or when you're eating or different things. Maybe you have some music going in the background when people first come in. Different things like that. And don't feel like, I guess I should throw this out there too. You might get ridiculed by some other Christians, but don't feel like you have to have Christian music playing when people come in the door. If you're trying to invite people who don't know God, have some music going that they would be accustomed to and things. That would be more welcoming to them than, Lord, we lift your name on high. You know what I mean? Like old school worship songs, that's like going to kill them, you know what I mean, kind of thing. So have some music going. Make sure you start on time. Make sure you start on time. Even if, a good way to address this, okay, is if you're worried about people, so-and-so is always coming in late and I don't want them to miss anything or whatever, well, you're doing food at the beginning. So if you just start eating food on time and people are hanging out, that way even if there's some stragglers coming in late, they'll probably get there by the time you're ready to start the actual Bible study portion of it. Does that make sense? So, but make sure you start on time. You want to value people's time. I also wrote, probably don't do worship. It's usually awkward in this kind of setting to do worship. Even if you decide to do a Bible study that's just for Christians, it can tend to be awkward. Worship is great at church. I'm somebody who really loves worship. I love to worship, so don't hear me wrong, okay? I'm all about worship. I've just found in my experience that this kind of setting, it can be really awkward. And so usually we'll just pass on doing it. Keep your meeting brief. 30 minutes is good, maybe 45 minutes. That's probably the max I would go. Keep it brief. People only have so much of an attention span. I'm hoping you guys will hang on with me this whole, session. So, all right, so, keep it brief. That's better for people. And the first meeting will set the tone going forward. So however when you're getting ready to do your first meeting, try to be as organized as possible for that first meeting. Try to make it really good and ready to go kind of thing, so that'll set the tone going forward for the Bible study. And then do icebreakers. There's 3 things that I want to walk through with you. Doing icebreakers, creating interest, and studying the Bible together, and then building relationships. So ice-breaking, this is what I'm talking about, setting the tone. There's tons of icebreakers that you can find. Have you guys done icebreakers in your youth groups probably? Little games, kind of like what you were just doing over there kind of thing. You can find tons of icebreaker ideas online. Just search icebreakers for youth groups, all this kind of stuff. There's so many websites dedicated to icebreaker ideas, it's ridiculous. So you'll find them anywhere. They're really easy to do most of the time. They don't require a lot of setup and things like that. So icebreakers are a great way to set the tone too and just have some fun together. Have extra Bibles on hand if possible, so that way when you go to start doing your Bible study, if you have some people who have come who don't know God, they have a Bible, or if you have even Christians who have come who didn't bring their Bible. Have a schedule for the meeting, but be flexible at the same time. So you want to have an agenda, you want to have a schedule set out for how things are going to look, but at the same time, if people are having a good time with the hangout and the food part, be flexible to let it go a couple minutes longer. If people have questions that come up during the Bible study portion, be flexible to answer their questions. Don't be so rigid on the schedule, but at the same time, make sure you have a plan. Make sure that you have it thought out. Make the Bible study about everyone, not just you. This is an important thing to think about, because I think this is kind of what happened when I was in my Bible study in high school. Was the guys who were running it were very much I want to go deep in studying the Word kind of thing. And I'm all about that, but it was their style of studying kind of thing. It wasn't really appealing to the majority of people. And that's why I'm saying, I love to worship, but I wouldn't do worship in this setting. You know what I mean? It can't just be about you and your preferences. You want to be thinking about everybody who comes in the door and whether it's something that they'll be interested in. Because if they're not interested, they're not going to come back, and before you know it, you won't have a Bible study. So think about it, from the perspective of, are the people coming to this, if they're Christians, are they going to enjoy this? If they're unbelievers, are they going to enjoy this, kind of thing. Think about it through their eyes. Try to put yourself in their shoes and think about it that way. It's not for just you, it's about everyone. Just think through, how would someone feel coming here, kind of thing. Avoid Christianese. Do you guys know what that means? Christianese? Okay, Christianese is the types of phrases that we say all the time that are Christian phrases that nobody really knows what they mean. So I've got a perfect video to illustrate this.
Ooh. Movies!
Right.
Where's that popcorn?
If I can get my computer back on. There we go. Oh, Jacob. Got a password here, bud.
Jacob.
I got it.
Why isn't it,
It should be fine.
okay. If it just takes a second, that's fine. These are the types of things that you hear, where somebody says like, somebody asks somebody out and she says, well, I really think of you just as a brother in Christ. Those kind of phrases that we say. He's pretty hot, but more than that, I love his heart for God, kind of thing. All those kind of phrases that we use as Christians. I'm trying to think of some other ones, but... Bottom line, somebody who comes into your Bible study, if they don't know God, even if they've been raised in the church, sometimes they're not used to some of the phrases that we use. Because there's so many different types of churches that one church may say Holy Ghost, and another one might say Holy Spirit, or something like that. So. Did it get disconnected from the...
This is a police car.
It's a 1-2, it's okay. It's gonna add anyway.
Huh? How many guys I don't know. Can they get fixed?
Okay. Oh, okay. I got it.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened.
What?
All right, here we go.
Bless his heart. Think he's backsliding? I think I saw him drink.
Yeah, but in moderation.
I just wasn't seeing much fruit. He's going down a slippery slope. How's your heart, man? How's your heart? I'm just such a words guy.
It was a total God thing. I'm blessed. Been working on my testimony.
Is that secular music?
We're opening with a secular song tonight.
Wait, is this a secular song? Isn't she secular?
Which station's the fish?
104.3, the fish. Safe for the whole family. You know he's a winner. He's saved.
I just pray you would give him traveling mercies. Pray for all Tyler's unspokens.
Echo that.
Just really like to echo Tyler's prayer, Father. I echo that echo of my echo of his echo.
Really feel like I'm being released from this,
I'm trying to be relevant. I'm just trying to be in the world, not of it. Hey, do you want to join our small group? You want to join my D group? You want to join my cell group, community group, access group, accountability group, Acts 27 group?
Dude, he brought it.
He brought the word. That service last night rocked me.
They're pretty purpose-driven.
Yeah, it's Seeker. Don't they do Seeker service there?
I feel like he's gotten really watered down.
I don't feel like he really teaches the word.
There's just not enough meat,
Are they non-denom? We have a great Wednesday night supper.
Let's invite some dudes over and fellowship tonight. We're gonna have a sweet time of fellowshipping tonight.
Dude, we had the sickest fellowship last night. We're going to Extreme.
Velocity.
Ignite.
Yeah, I'm going to Ignite.
The Edge.
The Dive.
The Bridge. The Ramp.
Fire.
Courageous. Passion. Echo. Reverb.
Noise.
Velocity. Drive.
Elevate.
Radiate.
722.
635.
419.
Orange.
Blue.
Yellow. Green. Clear. Neon.
Catalyst conference this year.
I don't do that because I feel like it ruins my witness.
Been struggling with that.
Just I'm really wrestling with that. I'm wrestling with a doubt.
Need someone to hold me accountable.
I'm really trying to be intentional with her. I'm pursuing her for sure. I'm trying to guard her heart.
Guard her hard though, bro.
Will you hold me accountable to that?
Yeah, well, bounce your ass. Bounce your ass.
Dang it. Crap.
Shoot. Sheesh.
Frick.
Darn it. What the H?
Holy crap.
Son of a bee sting.
Dude, he's really teeing me off. I'm gonna kick his A.
Are you assing me right now?
Not cool. I find that offensive.
All right, so you guys get the idea, right? Oh my gosh.
Whoa.
Okay.
I don't know what someone else.
All right, so you guys get the idea, right? Christianese, you understand what I'm saying now? I'm blessed, let's hold each other accountable, all those kind of phrases that we just use. We just think that they're normal because we've grown up in the church probably, you're used to hearing them all the time. If you use those around people who don't know that kind of stuff, aren't used to that kind of stuff, it makes them start to feel really uncomfortable. It's almost like we're speaking a different language. So you got to think about that kind of stuff as well. So that's, ice breaking, setting the tone. The second step is create interest and study the Bible together. That's what you're there to do, right? Here's the thing that you need to keep in mind when you're running a Bible study, okay? Coming up with teachings on your own each week is really difficult and time consuming. Okay, I'm not saying that to like scare you away from this. I'm going to give you some ideas of how you can do it in an easier way, okay? But you just need to know that if you're going into starting a Bible study and you're thinking, I'm going to be the one prepping a message every single week, it gets really difficult and time consuming. You probably have no idea how long your pastors work on the sermon for Sunday every week. Okay, maybe you do. 20, 30 hours a week some people put in, kind of thing. You guys haven't gone to Elam Bible Institute or someplace like that yet. You don't even know how to study the Bible all the time correctly. You know, kind of thing. So it's really hard to come up with those ideas. So what I want to do is I want to give you a couple different things that you can use as a resource to run a Bible study on a weekly basis where you don't have to come up with all this stuff on your own, okay? So I work with Basic, and we actually just put together some videos called Hangouts. And they're primarily, like, they're meant for college students, but they really apply to anybody, kind of thing. And so you guys could use these. These are free videos that are on our website. The website is thebasicsite.org, THEBASICSITE.org, The Basic Site, pretty simple. And if you put /Hangouts, you'll go right to the Hangouts part of our page. And so we just started making these, so we've got 6 videos up right now. We're going to be releasing 2 more in the next month or so. They're essentially like a 10 to 12 video of somebody preaching, telling a story. They're really visual, so it's not just somebody looking at the camera. I'll show you one in just a minute, just a part of one. And what's cool is you can download a free discussion guide too. So the videos are free. There's discussion guides that you can get for free. And they're easy ways to start a discussion with somebody after you watch this video about what we talked about, and have questions that go along with the video. So I'll show you just one here, for example. So here's the website, okay? It's going to look a little weird on here just because of the way that this is oriented. But so here you can download, we call them Hangouts. They're like Bible studies. So you can download guidelines to use them, and you can download a leader's guide that tells you some of the stuff I'm telling you about how to run a good Bible study. And then you have all the different videos. So you can see here's one on perseverance, and it's got right here, download the conversation guide and stuff. So here, we'll just play this one. They're up on YouTube, but we just put them on our website here so that everybody can see them. So here, we'll just play this one. This is my boss, Jonathan Bergio. I'll show you just a couple minutes of one here quick, just to give you an idea. Oh, there's a little promo here at the beginning for our conference that we're going to do.
Things have passed away, make me new, make me new. All things have passed away, make me new, make me new. Nothing can keep me down. Say, I know.
Now it'll actually go into the video here.
My first year of college was intense. I was living on my own for the first time. Classes were a lot more difficult than in high school. Plus, I was playing Division I football. Living on campus as a freshman is hard enough, but I had to do it while playing football, which brought its own set of challenges. Since most freshmen aren't strong enough, fast enough, or smart enough to play their first year of college football, they become redshirt freshmen. Simply put, they're on the team, but they don't play in any games. During the season, the players can't be worked too hard because they need to be rested for the games. But do you know who doesn't need to be rested for the games? The redshirt freshmen. And during my freshman year, we got a new strength and conditioning coach who is the meanest, toughest person you could imagine. And he created something that me and my friends will never forget for the rest of our lives. It became known as Freshman Fridays. Freshman Fridays were every Friday starting at 5 a.m. I remember waking up, it was pitch black outside, freezing cold, and we had no clue what this crazy guy was gonna make us do that day. We would do things such as carrying a 45-pound plate over our head and running for miles. We had these huge monster truck tires, and we'd have to carry them with a group of other guys, and if one guy dropped it, we all dropped it. We'd have to run the stadium stairs, which seated over 30,000 people, and we'd have to do it with carrying someone on our back. I don't know if I could ever do something like that again, but I do know what got us through it. It wasn't because we were superior athletes, because we weren't.
Okay, so
It wasn't because we were so mentally tough, because we weren't.
you get the idea. So from there, he goes into talking about a Bible verse, and he starts relating it to perseverance and how we persevere through different things and stuff. So all of them have like a story like that. It's really visual, it's really engaging, and it also helps you study the Bible. So there's 6 of those up there for now. We're putting up 2 more, and then we'll continue to add to that. So that's an easy way to run a Bible study really quickly and easily. Another option is there's a ton of resources out there where you can buy them. And your church might be willing to do this for you. This one's a really good one I like. It's called Threads Media. And they have really good Bible studies that you can purchase. You can see a whole bunch of them here. And they're like, you get a book and you get a workbook to work through with people, and you can read this thing together kind of thing and work through it on a weekly basis. That's a really good one. The other thing is you can just search for things on Google, like youth group Bible study or high school Bible study or different things. I did it really quick and I came up with one. I could show you here. This was just one that I found this is the first thing I searched for. It just came up, and it's got all these free downloadable things that you can use to run a Bible study, okay? So I'm just trying to give you some ideas of what you could use, because it takes a lot to come up with something on your own each week kind of thing. The other thing that you can think about is a lot of churches have small group materials. If your church runs any kind of small groups, they probably have materials that they've used for those that you could borrow from the church and use to run your Bible study. And a lot of times those are like multiple weeks, so you could use one for the fall, use one for the spring kind of thing, and then you've got your whole year covered. You just never know. It could be that simple. I know like the church I go to, they have a whole bunch of them that I could go over there and just say, hey, can I borrow this? And I would be able to use it kind of thing. So your church might have already bought some materials like that. You could also invite your pastor or your youth pastor or somebody that speaks in your church regularly to come and share on a regular basis. That would be cool to have them come and do that. If you're really strapped for cash, you can't buy one of these things, you can't do anything, or if you're just feeling like, I really want to do teach this thing myself every week kind of thing. Well, one of the easiest ways to do that is to go through a book of the Bible together. And so you just pick a book of the Bible that you're going to go through together. But I'll tell you, it's more difficult than you think, but you could do it. I definitely think you could pull it off. But if you're going to do that, pick a book of the Bible that's actually like interesting and you think you'd be able to understand it. Matthew, Mark, Luke, John, Daniel, or one of these kind of books. Don't pick something like Hosea. Don't pick Song of Solomon. Okay, so pick books of the Bible that make sense to go through, okay? You get what I'm saying? That are easy to go through, easy to understand, easy to pick out different things from, kind of thing. And then what you want to do is just apply it to people your age group. Apply it to people who are coming there. Start to think through, how can this apply to my friends? How can this teaching? So like those ones that I showed you, the Hangouts, we've applied them to college students. So often at the end we'll start applying it to college students and where they're at in life. Just think through beforehand, how do I apply this to high school friends of mine? And what are some questions that I could ask, or ways that I could say, hey, have you gone through this at this part of your life? Have you gone through this in school, or things like that kind of thing? Apply it to them. If they feel like it's being applied to them and they can think of it through the lens of how does this apply to me, then they're going to be interested and it's going to be useful for them, kind of thing. And you want to facilitate discussion. Like I said, you've got those conversation guides if you use the Hangouts. If you don't use that, think of some questions ahead of time. Basically, whatever teaching you decide to do, you should be looking over it at least the night before, if not before that, or watching the video or something, coming up with some questions that you can use to engage the people who are there at the Bible study. So it's not just, hey, let's do this thing and I'm just going to read it to you kind of thing and then we're done. Maybe we'll say a quick prayer or something. You want to get a little bit of conversation going so that it actually is interesting to people and they get something out of it. Okay, so ice breaking and setting the tone, creating interest in studying the Bible together, and then building relationships. Building relationships is the main key to people coming back and growing in their faith. It's the main thing that's going to get people wanting to keep coming to a Bible study. That's why you do the food at the beginning, because you're hanging out, you're talking together. Maybe you go and do stuff outside of school together then with your group of Bible study friends. Maybe you're going out to ice cream together or to a movie or different things like that. Just find ways to build relationships. But the other thing that you need to know is that it's really important that students allow each other to speak openly in the Bible study, that they treat one another with respect, that that personal issues that are discussed stay in the room. This is really hard sometimes. You know, you want people to feel like they're in a place where they can trust the people around them. And if they feel like they can start to share some issues that they're struggling with or things that they're going through and really be open with people and get prayer for it, that will make your Bible study awesome. It really will, because you'll start to see people impacted and their lives change. You'll start to see Jesus do some things in their hearts that really can change them. But they won't open up. They won't do that unless they feel like they can trust the people who are there. That, you know, Jennifer isn't going to go spreading this all around the school kind of thing, this thing that I struggle with, or the fact that my parents are getting a divorce, or, you know what I mean, kind of thing. Okay, so that's, and there's only so much you can do to control that as a leader. You know, people are going to choose to do what people are going to do. But as much as possible, try to encourage people, like, everything we talk about should stay here. You know, this is a safe place. This is a place where we can trust each other, that kind of thing. Because I'm telling you, gossip can destroy the trust within a Bible study group. I've seen it happen time and time again. Okay, so you want to create a safe place and you want to build relationships. And if people feel that way, then they'll want to keep coming back to your Bible study, and you'll see people really impacted by the Bible and by what God's doing in their hearts. The only other thing I would say is to think long term. So, you know, you're starting to do a Bible study, but think of it as something that could continue going after you leave. You know, after you graduate from high school, who's going to take this thing over? So as you're doing it, identify leaders in the group and try to train them so that they can take over when you're gone, or if you can't make it 1 week or something, you know that it's taken care of. If you think of a couple people like that, you feel like, you know, maybe you would even be starting it with a couple friends or something, and you know that you can trust them to do that. Invite them to participate. Help them you know, give them small tasks that they can do to be involved, like helping set up the room each week or getting the food or different things like that. Just certain things that you can do to get them involved in the Bible study, you know. And then that way, when you graduate, hopefully you've had, you know, a couple people a year, 2 years younger than you who can keep it going kind of thing. And hopefully they do the same thing, you know, for the people below them. And you never know, you could end up leaving a legacy of sorts where you started this Bible study, gotten something going, and now it's running 10 years later or something. How cool would that be? So, impacting lots of students. So that's all I've got for starting and running a Bible study. I do want to tell you guys a little bit about basic groups and what that is all about, but I want to take some questions first about the Bible study stuff. So anybody have any questions? I covered it all. Come on.
How do you determine a day to meet? Because, like, for my school, like, we pick a day and then, like, half of the people say they can't make it. So, like, how do you find it?
Yeah, picking a day can be really challenging. I mean, did you just pick a day randomly, or did you talk to the people who would be coming, kind of thing? What did you do?
Well, the people who are in the group, we kind of, like, talk about it, and then we kind of put it to a vote, but then when we start to invite people, they can't make it.
Okay. Yeah, it's one of those things where you have to realize that no matter when you do it, some people won't be able to make it. We've run into this with our basic groups on campuses too, and it can be a real challenge. You have to think through some of the different things. If you're having Christians who can't make it, maybe you're thinking through like, oh, I shouldn't be doing it on a night where there would be a midweek meeting at their church or something like that. But there will be some people who can't come no matter what. Are you in high school right now, or? Okay, so, I mean, I think the best way to do it is right after high school, you know, right after school lets out kind of thing. Do it at that time. And the only thing is you're going to miss out on people who are involved in sports, basically. And so if you want to do it when people, you know, if you want to get people who are involved in sports, maybe you have to think through another time to do it. Maybe you have to do it early in the morning before school starts. I don't know if people would really be excited about that, though. Probably not. People get to your school early. Okay, so maybe that would be a good solution. I don't know. Different things to think through like that. Just think through like what types of commitments would be keeping people from coming here, and then from there try to determine the best day and time. Good question. Any other questions? You guys are like, Ultimate Frisbee tournament is next. I want to get out of here, right? No other questions? Okay, well, let me just give you just a couple minutes. This won't take long. I just wanted to let you know about basic groups, because a lot of you are going to be graduating in the next couple of years, going on to college. Maybe you'll go to a Christian school like Elam Bible Institute. I'm sure these guys are hoping you will. And this is a great school, so I'd be happy if you came here. It'd be great. But I also want to tell you, for anybody who goes to a non-Christian school, a secular school, as they say, I want to tell you about Basic, because essentially what it is it's a place on about 30 different campuses all across New York State where Christians can gather and meet people, and you can make friends right when you get to college and be gathering with people who are just like you, who want to be learning about God and about the Bible every day or every week. And then we have those conferences. Now, I should tell you, those conferences that you saw advertised there, as soon as you're a junior in high school, you can come to one of those conferences. So those are in Rochester, New York. And then we're starting up a new one down in New Jersey in the fall here. So if you're at all interested in one of those conferences, you can go right on that website, thebasicsite.org, and see the information there. Those conferences are awesome. Hundreds of college students and young adults come together into a hotel for a weekend. It's like a huge party, but it's a Christian party. It's really cool. We have really great worship people. We've had Kim Walker-Smith. We have Leland from the band Leland. And then you have fun activities to do. You get to go out to meals with your friends. There's really good speakers and teaching and stuff like that. But anyways, there's these groups that meet weekly on about 30 different campuses, and you can get involved in a Basic group. Just when you go to your campus, look up Basic. You can even go on the Basic site. I'll show you real quickly. I don't want to take too much time on this, but if you go on the Basic site here, and you click on campuses, this map comes up. If it's going to load here. There we go. Where you can see all the different locations where we're at, okay? So right now we're on about 30 different campuses. We're all over the state. Long Island, Buffalo, Syracuse, Rochester, up north, and Binghamton, Albany. We're everywhere in New York State, and we're expanding outside of New York State soon. I'm almost certain we will, especially with starting up that conference down in the New Jersey area. So just be checking it out. When you go to college, just come to this part of our website and see if there's a group on your campus. And it would be a great way for you to get connected. For me, it was a great way for me to make Christian friends right when I got on campus. And I was really blessed and happy that I did it. So I just wanted to tell you about those, and then from there you can come to the conferences. Like I said, if you're a junior or senior in high school, you're welcome to come to the conferences too. If you get a couple of people to come with you, you can room with them for the weekend, which is really fun. Maybe you can get your youth leader to bring a group of juniors and seniors to come as a group kind of thing. So, any questions about that? I just wanted to make sure you guys knew about that as an aside. All right, thanks guys.
Thank you.